What up, Winbush here. And today I want to show you how you can dynamically make a lower third for whenever you're working in broadcast, either on TV or even in live broadcasting situations. So as you can see with this graphic right here, let's say that I have this lower third here, and it comes back that we spelled this name wrong. So Wilson is actually spelled with one L. So if I look down here, I have my details panel at the bottom here, but if I come down here under text, delete one of the L's, you can see how everything dynamically moved with my spelling here. And even if they want to move it out a little bit, you could just say like Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh, something like that. Actually, I spelled Pittsburgh wrong again. There you go. But you can see how this lower third dynamically moved with my text. Even if I change out my font here, so right here where it says font, I could come over here. Let's just say we do like impact, something like that. Everything dynamically moved out, so we can have this lower third be bolted to whatever we want to do inside of here. So I'm just changing out my font right here. I'm actually going to change it back to my one I originally had, and then let's just say number 3, something like that, so you can see what's happening. So I have my logo here on the right hand side, and then I also have my lower third bar here, and everything that I'm doing is coinciding with this text. So let's even say that, like you can see, I'm not even in title safe right now. If I come out here and I just move this over, everything is moving with my text right there. So I'm going to show you how we can build this out dynamically. So if you have to pass this on to a client or to somebody else working with you, they can easily go in and make the changes that they need. So let's start first by actually deleting everything here. So I'm going to delete my lower third here. And if you want to follow along, I'll actually share this project file with you so you can follow along, or just backward engineer it if you want. But to get started, let's say I'm going to come over here and let's make a rectangle. So I'm just going to left click on this, and then I'm going to bring my rectangle forward a little bit. So I'm going to come down here to my location. Let's just move this up a tad bit, somewhere around there. And then we're just going to elongate it. So I'm going to select one of these corners, drag these out like so. And then I'm going to select my rectangle as a whole, and let's drag this all the way down. Now we're not going to design the whole rectangle here for a lower third. I'm just going to do this as an example just so you can see how to set this up. So let's say for this, we want to change this to some type of yellow. So somewhere around there might work. Now let's put his name inside of here. So I'm going to come over here to actors. Let's come over here to text actor, select that twice. You can see we have the text in there. So let me actually click on my rectangle where we're at in our distance, -65. So I'm going to take my text, make this -66, because we are working in 3D space. Then I'm just going to bring this down inside of here, and let's just type out Russell, something like that. I think that's how you spell Russell, right? With one L, I think, something like that. Then we can always change the font down here as well. So I'm going to come back up here to Bebe's New, something like that. I like that font. So now we have Russell inside there. Actually, we can spell out his real name. Just do the full thing, Wilson, something like that. And so now what we're going to do is let's add the logo on here so we can have it on the cap here. So if I come up here, I actually have that as a vector file. I'm going to select this twice, and that's going to bring it over here instead of our motion design outliner. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to come down here into my content browser, and I have my SVG data right here. And so what I'm going to do is actually come back over here to my details panel, and where it says SVG data, I'm going to left click here, and this should already come up in here. So I'm going to left click on that, and now you can see it's behind there. So let's come back down here and let's do -67, somewhere around there, just so we can bring it forward a little bit ahead of our lower third. So let's say we want this to be our design. We could probably make it a little bit smaller. Actually, right here where it says render mode, I'm not going to make it 3D. I'm just going to use it as a 2D vector file. And since I made this 2D, I'm going to come up here to where my transform tools are. And I'm just going to scale it up here like so. So somewhere around there should be suffice. So let's say now we have our lower third all built out how we want it. We got approved by the art director, and we want to make this dynamic. So no matter what we make the name here, this is going to move out. And also we have our lower third banner is going to coincide with it. So in order to do that, you want to make sure you have your item selected. So let's start off with the banner first. And actually, instead of rectangle, I'm just going to name this one banner L3 for banner lower third. And then you want to come over to your operator stack. So it's going to be right here. If you don't see it here on your side panel, because I did change out my UI a little bit, if you come over here on your left-hand side, you should see operator stack, and you just click on that, and that's going to bring it up here. And you want to make sure you're under modifiers. And what we're going to do is add a modifier And we're going to come down here under layout into where we see auto size. So we want to select auto size, and then right here under reference actor, what you could do, you can either use the picker or you could pick it inside of here where it says none. So I'm going to select none, and then I'm just going to look for my text because that's what I want it to be connected to. So I'm going to select my text, and you can see right now it's shrunk down and it's actually really engulfing our text there. So we can easily pad this out by coming right here under padding, and we could change it out to our left, in which you can't slide it over for some reason. There's no sliders yet, so you're going to have to manually input these. And so let's do 25. Actually, that's not long enough. So let's do 50, and you can see it's moving out there on the side. And then if we do right, maybe let's do this by, okay, so 10 is not going to be big enough. So yeah, it stinks right now. You have to manually move it. It doesn't have sliders yet, but that's probably something they're going to fix here in the future. And then we're just going to give it a little bit of padding at the top and bottom. So maybe 5 by 5, something like that. And then for fit mode, like we don't want to have it dynamically change going up and down. We only want to change it on the width. So right here where it says fit mode, I'm going to come down here and do width only. And so now when I change out my text, so let me come back over here to my outliner, select my text, and I'm just going to type in Pittsburgh again. Down here, hit enter. So now you saw that it actually moved everything out. So we're only moving it on the width, which is what we want. So I'm going to come back down and I'm going to hit Control Z to switch that back. And now let's make it so that our icon actually moves out with our banner as well. So I'm going to select my vector file right here, and I'm going to come back to my operator stack again. And right here under add modifiers, I'm going to left click on this, and then I'm going to use a different one, which is going to be called auto follow. So I'm going to left click on this. And right now what we're going to do is tell it to actually follow the text file as well. Well, you can either have it follow your text file or your banner file, either or. It just depends on how you want to build this out. So let's start with our text file. So I'm going to come down here under reference actor, select it under my text, and then down here where we have default distance, if I select this down a little bit, so I'm going to come down here to Y, and I'm just going to move this over ever so slightly. So let's do an even number, like 35. And then again, if I come over here, select out my text, come down here, let's just do Pittsburgh once again, because that's where he's going, Pittsburgh Steelers, hit enter. And we just made it dynamically move. So you saw it jump out there. It's just going to go to however you have your text here. Number 3. So you can see how easily we can set this up so we can pass projects around. Now let's say you wanted to add a little bit more design to it. So if I come over here to my outliner and I come over here and right click on my banner and let's just duplicate it. And then I'm just going to drag it down here underneath. So instead of banner L4, I'm just going to do L3 and then white. Like so, because we're going to make this one white here. And so down here in my color, I'm going to change this out to white, and you can see that it's starting to fight. We're actually going to fix that. But if I come over here to my operator stack, since we did do a duplication, you can see the auto size is already all set up. Now right here where it says follow axis, if I select this, you can tell it what axis you want it to follow. If I come down here and I turn off Z, and then if I come over here and actually move this down, you can see that it's only going to do follow on the Y axis. So let me actually move this ahead just a tiny bit. There we go. Inside of our transform, and move this down like so. So I actually like how we have that little gap there on the side. So I'm going to leave it like that. But if I come back over here to text and let's come down here, we're just going to change it out again. So let's do QB. And you can see that now this is actually correlating with our text there as well. So there's a whole plethora of different things that you could do, but I thought it was really cool how we can actually make dynamic text follow along with objects and our banners here to make some sports motion graphics. And that's going to do it. I know a lot of people are asking for some examples of how they could use it inside the work. I come from a broadcast background, so creating lower thirds for graphics packages is something that comes with the territory. So hopefully this helps a lot of you out. And if it did, make sure you subscribe for more tutorials just like this. And until next time, stay fresh, keep creating, and I catch you in the next video. Go Steelers. See you next time.